One of the best uses for AI right now, especially if you're non-technical, is to improve your decision making. Because at the end of the day, all we really have are our decisions. Good decisions, good life. Bad decisions, bad life. So today I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that using the framework of this CEO. His name is Matt Blumberg and he runs a company called Markup AI. But he had a problem. He wanted better feedback and input so that he could make good decisions. And he had his own board of directors at his company, but the real boards are limited. They're not always available. They have their own biases, their own blind spots, and you can't hit them up at 2 a.m. when you're spiraling about a decision. So he came up with something different. He made a spreadsheet of a bunch of famous, successful people. So this could be CEOs, investors, authors, Nobel Prize winners, designers, etc. And then they ran a draft like in fantasy football, where you go through and you pick the top players that you want on your team, but the team is his AI board of directors or his AI personal advisory team. You can call it whatever you want, but the idea is the same. And then he used this personal advisory team to help him make better decisions, stress test different ideas, look at things from outside angles, prepare for meetings. He even asked him to give him a performance review over all of 2025. And he said he crushed it. But the coolest part is anybody can build one of these in an afternoon. It's pretty simple, and so I'm gonna show you exactly how. So step one is the fun part. This is where we do the draft. You pick 5 people that you want on your board, but how I would recommend doing it is pulling from a few different buckets so that not everyone is thinking in the same way, but you get a lot of unique angles. So here I've listed out a lot of great options for this under the different buckets. We've got strategy and warfare, capital and finance, sales and operator, product and design, emotional intelligence, philosophy and first principles, entrepreneurship and startups, and creativity and communication. If you want to keep it simple, just steal my list. Otherwise, you can obviously come up with your own as well. For my list, I am going to go with Warren Buffett, Sun Tzu, Oprah Winfrey, Alex Hormozi, and Paul Graham. I think that's a solid list. We got a lot of different perspectives there, and these people are all super smart. Yours doesn't have to look like mine, but the idea is to get a diversity of opinions, like I said. You want people to kind of disagree with each other so you see the unique angles that they're bringing. Step 2 is to gather source material so that AI can impersonate this person. There's 2 options here, one simple and one that is more complicated. The simplest way is a very good prompt that instructs the AI to think just like this person, to have their same mental models, even certain biases that they have, to speak in the way that they speak, things like that. And I'll talk about how to write that prompt in just a second. The more advanced way is to actually go gather materials from these people and then feed them into the LLM. We are going to use a custom GPT for this. So to show you what that looks like, say I want to get Paul Graham's essays. I can go to his website and they're all here, but now I want to write a script to download all of these and keep them as markdown files that I can feed into my LLM. Now, if that sounds complicated or you've never written a script before, don't worry about it. We can just ask AI to do it. So I'm going to pull up Codex and you can see that I actually already did this in preparation. But all you have to do is say, can you write me a script to download all of Paul Graham's essays as .md files? They're all here at this link. Told it to give me an outline and then we'll jump into it. So it fetched it, ran through this. You just have to click accept, accept, allow a couple times, and then boom. It's got them all in this folder. Now, you can do the same thing with other people. For example, Warren Buffett's shareholder letters. You could grab transcripts from Alex Hormozi's YouTube videos or podcasts, things like that. Not everything is always publicly available, but you don't need everything. You just need a decent sampling so that the AI has some stuff to work with. Because again, remember, it was already trained on these people's data. Like as far as we know, they kind of grabbed everything on the internet. And so even if you don't have a bunch of data, it'll still work very well. Cool. Step 3 is to actually build the custom GPT. This is the project that will answer the questions. So we're just going to go to chatgpt.com. You will have to go in the web version for this. And then we're going to go here to GPTs. Or if that doesn't show up for you, go to more and then GPTs will be in here as well. So now we're here, we're gonna go up into the top right corner and hit create. And then we're gonna name it. I'm gonna call mine Ben's Personal Advisory Tribunal. Now, the main things that we need to do here are to add instructions. And I'm going to paste this prompt. Now, I will have this available for download, but one that's more general so it can work for anybody. But here's the idea. You're a council of 5 advisors, list your advisors here. When I ask you a question, respond as each advisor in turn, clearly labeled by name. Fully embody each person, adopt their authentic speech patterns, known decision-making frameworks, characteristic blind spots and biases, specific mental models they're known for. For example, Hormozi should sound like Hormozi, direct, offer-obsessed, impatient with vagueness. Buffett should sound like Buffett, etc. And then after all 5 respond, add a brief synthesis that identifies where they agreed, where they disagreed, and the single most actionable takeaway. So if you didn't download any extra data, this is all you need. But I do have some knowledge for Paul Graham, so I'm going to upload files here. Cool, so we've got everything there, and then we're just gonna hit create. I'm gonna make it so that only I can view it. Now we have it, and let's ask it some questions. My business is torn between 2 paths. We have one that we've been going down for a while, and it seems solid. We seem like we know what we're doing there, but I'm not sure the market is that hot, and I worry long-term it won't end well. Otherwise, we could shift more into the AI space, which is growing very rapidly, but it's a new market. We don't know exactly what product we're gonna offer within that space, and so we're trying to figure it out. What would you recommend? How should I think about this decision? Let's see what it says. This is just a made-up question for the first one. Framing this like a binary choice, it's probably sequencing. Path 1 sounds like you know all of these things. Path 2 sounds like potentially massive upside, but it's unclear customer product positioning. Question is, what unfair advantage do you have? If the answer is none yet, don't fully pivot. Tourist behavior. Allocate, so run it like a portfolio. Allocate serious but bounded resources to AI exploration. Compress learning cycles aggressively. Cool, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this sounds like Buffett. It's kind of like stay within your circle of competence. You know what you're doing. 2 different energies. Yep, that definitely sounds like Oprah. Pay attention to both. Not only bad from bad strategy, but fail from dead energy. And see, this is why I think this is cool, because if you listen to Alex Hormozi, he's never gonna tell you, he's not gonna start talking about your energy, whereas Oprah will. And whether or not you agree with that, at least it gets you thinking in a way that you weren't before. Yep, Sun Tzu, solid. Paul Graham. Founders usually overvalue certainty about markets and undervalue certainty about problems. The best startups tend to start from this specific thing is broken and we know it deeply. Dude, this is good, man, this is good. And then I really like this too, the synthesis, where it tells you the most agreed upon things. So don't fully pivot based on hype alone. Run parallel exploration instead of making a dramatic binary decision. Then your edge matters more than market category. Cool, so we've got that. Now let's ask a more personal one that's not as relevant to business. So here's one that I like. I compare myself to people ahead of me constantly. It's killing my motivation. How do I stop? Stop by understanding what comparison actually is. It's unconscious goal selection. Changes the game from am I improving to am I winning? Yeah, that's solid. Yeah, Buffett's gonna talk about like the internal scorecard. Try to consistently be less stupid. Yeah, that's solid. Focus on whether you're learning, habits are improving, you're building something durable. Oh, I like this. So the shift from Oprah is instead of their success diminishes me, practice their success expands what is possible. That's good. The general who constantly studies another army may forget the condition of his own troops. Banger. Paul Graham saying the goal is to make it non-destructive. It's misleading because outcomes in fields with superlinear returns diverge enormously, even among people with relatively small differences in underlying ability or timing. So it's just that they are further along a compounding curve. That's big. Process to position. Awesome. So you guys can hopefully see how valuable this is. You can use it in any area of life, not just business, but also your personal life, career, relationships, all of that stuff. It's quite valuable. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer those, and I'll see you next time.